Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, January 23rd. A significant winter storm is headed towards the I-95 corridor. It will have a big impact on the D.C., Philly, New York City metropolitan regions from tonight into Saturday. By tomorrow morning, low pressure will be sitting just off the Virginia coastline. It will then rapidly intensify over the next 12 hours. By the time it reaches the area just to the east of the Massachusetts coastline tomorrow evening, it'll be quite strong indeed. Several inches of snow are possible up and down the I-95 corridor. There will be some ice mixed in as well. We'll get into the details of this storm over the next few minutes. Another storm will produce accumulating snow in the I-95 corridor Sunday night into Monday. That storm promises to have a big impact on the Monday morning commute. It looks like several inches of snow could fall from that second system. We are heading into a very active period over the next couple of weeks that should include significant snowfall and some brutal cold air outbreaks. Well, first of all, let's talk about this first system, the early weekend coastal storm. By tomorrow morning, low pressure will be intensifying just off the Virginia coastline. It will move in a general northeast direction and be just off the New England, the Massachusetts coastline by tomorrow evening. In this 12-hour period here between tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, that storm will rapidly intensify. This is a great storm track for snowstorms in the I-95 corridor. However, as I was taught many times by the great John Kerr up at Penn State years ago, a strong, cold Arctic high-pressure system to the north in this region right here is almost a prerequisite for any kind of substantial snowfall in the I-95 corridor. This will be lacking for this particular storm. So despite the fact that the storm track itself is very nice for snow lovers, very nice for a snowstorm, without Arctic air in place and without that cold air source during the upcoming event, namely a strong anchoring high pressure system to the north, there will be a mixture. And given the fact that there will be a mixture, the snow changing to freezing rain and sleet, perhaps even plain rain in some parts of the I-95 corridor, will limit the chances for a great snowfall. If it was all snow here, if there was a strong Arctic high pressure system in place, we would be talking about a foot in many regions along the I-95 corridor. Nevertheless, despite the fact that there will not be an entrenched Arctic air mass, 3 to 6 inches of snow are quite likely in Philadelphia and the northern and western suburbs. Same thing up across New York City and its northern and western suburbs. Maybe 1 to 3 inches down across D.C. and its northern and western suburbs. You go pretty far to the north and west of D.C., even they can get 4 or 5 inches of snow. These accumulations also include ice. There certainly will be a period of freezing rain up and down the I-95 corridor. It looks like the precipitation will arrive approximately 5 or 6 p.m. in the D.C. metro region, perhaps 9 or 10 p.m. across Philadelphia, southeastern part of Pennsylvania, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, anywhere from 1 or 2 in the morning in the New York City metro region. It is liable to produce its best snowfall at the front end of this storm. The main thumping of snow should occur at the front end of this particular storm later on this evening and into the overnight hours. Well, let's first talk about the upper air pattern for this early weekend coastal storm. This is all using last night's 0Z GFS model run. 500 millibar forecast map for this evening shows 2 areas of upper level energy. One situated right along the Gulf coastal region. This is the main area of energy here, a deep upper level trough. Notice a second area, however, kind of hanging back here across the Great Lakes region by this evening. Basically, these two phase together, and that will help to produce a significant intensification of the storm on Saturday. Let's jump ahead 24 hours. And here's the forecast map for tomorrow evening. By this time, those two upper level waves of energy kind of coalesce into one powerful storm here just sitting off the Massachusetts coastline by Saturday evening, 7 or 8 p.m. or so. Notice upstream another wave of energy here. This is associated with the Sunday night Monday system, a very impressive looking clipper type of system, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes or so. It ends up being kind of an enhanced clipper system that really intensifies as it reaches the coastline. Now, with this rapid intensification on Saturday, that tends to actually generate its own cold air mass. So when I talked up front about the usual requirement for a strong high-pressure system sitting to the north for substantial snow in the I-95 corridor, one other way to get decent snowfall is if you have rapid intensification. Rapid intensification of a surface low-pressure system indicates strong upward motion. Strong upward motion leads to a cooling in the atmosphere. So just with rapid intensification, we will indeed see some significant snowfall accumulations in the I-95 corridor, especially to the north and west of the big cities later tonight into tomorrow, with that strong upward motion in the atmosphere. If there was a strong high, this would probably be all snow, and we'd be talking about a foot or more. Well, now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps. Again, all of this using last night's zero-Z GFS model run. This is for this evening. And precipitation has already moved into the D.C. metro region. Again, arrival there perhaps 6 p.m. or so, 5, 6, 7 p.m. Then into southeastern Pennsylvania, perhaps 9, 10 p.m. And finally maybe 1 or 2 in the morning across New York City. It looks like it'll arrive as snow in southeastern Pennsylvania, perhaps in the form of snow in D.C., but there can be some mixing in even at the onset in the D.C. metro region, all of that limiting the snowfall amounts in the D.C. region. But even there, I believe 1 to 3 inches of snow and ice can accumulate by tomorrow morning or so. The best thumping of snow across the Philadelphia and New York City metro regions will come on this front end during the evening hours and into the overnight hours before a changeover to freezing rain and sleet. And some of the northern and western suburbs will have a hard time getting above freezing tomorrow, so there certainly can be a changeover to plain rain in the big cities early tomorrow, midday tomorrow, all the way down to the coastline. But in some of the northern and western suburbs, freezing precipitation can hang on throughout the morning on Saturday. Well, here's the forecast map for tomorrow morning. By this time, low pressure will be situated off the Virginia coastline, starting to undergo its rapid intensification process. Again, it should move in this general direction between tomorrow morning and tomorrow night. Notice precipitation all the way back now into western Pennsylvania, not necessarily just confined to the coastline here. And again, precipitation will be coming down hard from Philadelphia north and east at this time. We'll be actually starting to wind down in the D.C. metro region during the morning hours here, and all of this should be out of the D.C. region by tomorrow afternoon, a little bit later in the day as you go north and east along I-95. Well, here's the forecast map for tomorrow evening. Again, by this time the storm is quite strong indeed. It has intensified quite a bit from the time it is situated here off the Virginia coastline tomorrow morning to this particular time by tomorrow evening. Quite a strong storm, but it is a relatively rapid mover. That again will help limit the heaviest snowfall totals even in interior sections, because it will be a pretty rapid mover. By this time the precipitation is pretty much over with in the I-95 corridor region between D.C. and Philadelphia, and perhaps just about ending at this time across New York City as well. Upstream, here we go. Here's the next system here, a clipper type system with some moisture already dropping into the northern plains. Well, let's now jump ahead to that next system. Again, we're talking about an early week system in the Sunday night, Monday time frame. This system will arrive with cold air in place. Unlike tonight's system, tomorrow's system, where there is no real Arctic air mass in place, it will have to generate its own cold air. The Sunday night, Monday system will arrive with colder air in place. Hence, snow is likely to be the predominant precipitation type for that particular system, and I think there is potential for several inches of snow out of that system Sunday night, Monday, all the way from D.C. to Philadelphia, New York City. It certainly looks like it'll have an impact on the Monday morning commute time. It could be numerous school closings. It's a little too early to say anything like that yet, but that is a possibility with this system. By the way, brutal cold air will follow that system. This is the forecast map for Sunday evening. Kind of a juiced up clipper system here by this time over the eastern part of the Ohio Valley. Precipitation just about moving in, probably in the form of snow, into the D.C. metro region. Notice there's a high pressure system for this storm just to the north here. Let's now jump ahead 12 hours to Monday morning. Well, here we go. By Monday morning, that clipper system intensifies some as it reaches the warmer waters of the western Atlantic Ocean, and a very healthy looking area of precipitation, most likely in the form of snow, up and down the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to New York City. Again, it looks like this will have a big impact on the Monday morning commute time. I believe several inches of snow are possible out of this system Sunday night and Monday. Stay tuned to the VencoreWeather.com website over the weekend for any possible updates. Strong high pressure here to the north come Monday morning, and this is the center of a very cold air mass that drops in behind this system for Tuesday and Wednesday. By Wednesday morning, there will be numerous sub-zero temperatures in the northeastern part of the country. Single digits are quite likely in the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philly to New York City by Wednesday morning, as a brutal cold air mass follows this second system Sunday night and Monday. Well, one final map I'd like to show here. This is kind of looking ahead, and I believe the next few weeks we'll experience the worst that winter can throw our way, with significant snow at times and brutal cold air outbreaks at times for the next couple of weeks, perhaps even right through the month of February. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly map for the end of next week, and right around the turn of the month from January into February. Next Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, February 1st, this is the height anomaly chart for that time period, and we've talked about this before. We posted a blog about this about a week ago for the end of the month, and a very impressive looking pattern for cold air and potential snowstorms. Here is all this area in orange here, and red represents height anomalies on the positive side. In other words, high pressure, strong ridging along the west coast of the U.S. and western Canada here, and that is very conducive to pulling Arctic air from northern Canada into the northern U.S. In fact, if you take a look at some of these lines here, these lines represent the height anomaly lines here at 500 millibars, and winds generally follow these lines. So here's the North Pole right here, and you can see an air parcel right here over the North Pole. If indeed it follows this line, which it typically will do, comes directly from the North Pole right into the northeastern part of the U.S. Again, this is late next weekend into the early part of February. Just a very cold looking pattern here, with air coming directly from the North Pole into the northeastern U.S. Not only is there the threat for brutal cold air at the end of the month into the first week of February, but there are some signs of a very strong coastal snowstorm in that time period as well, perhaps Super Bowl Sunday or in the Monday time frame. That's still way out ahead, but the overall pattern suggests significant snow and brutal cold air for the next couple of weeks, perhaps even longer than that. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.